Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are well. Today is Tuesday, September someday. I am eating Chick-fil-A at the moment, but I left Charlotte about, what time is it? Yeah, about 3 hours ago. Let me catch y'all up real quick. So about 2.5 weeks ago, I came back from Florida to the Carolinas, right? I had a contract is scheduled to go to mid-November-ish, but it might get extended. Excuse me. I was going to stay with my friend in Charlotte and just commute for maybe 2 weeks till I could get some extra money to move into a place in Columbia. I probably was going to go back to the place that I rented before because it was still available. It was fully furnished. People were great. Great neighborhood, excuse me. All of that. Um, Things didn't go that way. I came here on a Friday. Dang it, somebody just pulled up next to me. Um, so I came here on a Friday. I'm trying to think what day was that. It was like the first weekend in September. So I came up here, drove back up here from Florida, went to my friend's house, stayed there for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I started work that Monday. So I commuted from Charlotte to Columbia, which is an hour and a half commute one way, so that's 3 hours a day. So for that second week in September, I was commuting back and forth, right? My body is tired. I'm getting worn out. I'm like, listen, I can't do this another week. So I'm like, okay, I need to find a place in Columbia. I'm like, okay, I don't want to spend the money to go back to my old place because it's a lot of money and I don't technically have it. So I'm like, let me see about renting a room. So I go on Furnish Finder and I find a place. I meet the lady that Monday. So the first day of my contract was, I think it was the 11th, September 11th. So first day of my contract, after my first day ended, I went to her place to check it out, make sure, it's in a safe area, clean, all that. And it was. And she seemed all right. She seemed cool, whatever. She has a little dog, but it was just her and the little dog. I'm like, okay, great. She showed me the room I was going to be staying in, but there's the problem. The room she showed me was empty. There was nothing in it. But according to um, the website that I saw in the posting, there was furniture, there was a bed, there was all of that. So I'm just like, what's up? Um, and by the way, y'all, all this stuff is because I'm moving back to Florida, which I'm gonna get to in a minute. Um, so I'm like, ma'am, you can't be out here. Sorry, y'all. The lighting's going in and out. I'm like, ma'am, you can't be out here advertising one thing and then actually something else is what is there. I'm like, okay, whatever. She's like, I can get a bed. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm planning to move there, or I'm planning to sign a lease that Friday, uh, 15th or whatever the date was. Excuse me, y'all. It's a lot. I'm trying to, yeah. Excuse me. My goodness. So that Friday the 15th, I believe it was, midday through my day, gosh, at work, I get a call from one of the bosses, and she's like, yeah, they're putting a pause on the contract due to X, Y, and Z. Has nothing to do with me. Has nothing to do with them. It's bigger than them, bigger than that company and everybody else. So I'm like, okay. So basically, today is your last day. We'll let you know if and when the pause is gonna resume. So I'm like, okay. But they told me it's like 6 states that had this issue, but one of the territories one of the territories got this issue fixed in 4 hours. So I'm thinking, okay, that's hopeful. Like maybe this will happen for SC, right? South Carolina. So weekend goes by. That next day, that Saturday, this was on a Friday. They told me this is my first week at the contract, mind you. I just came up there that Friday before. So I'm staying at my friend's place. She's not here. She's out of town doing her thing. So I have a place to myself in Charlotte. Anyways, that Saturday, I wake up with a sore throat. I said, oh, snap. But I'm like, it could be the air. It could be, okay. Maybe it's just a sore throat. right? Yeah, it was not just a sore throat. Later that day, as you can expect, chills, fever, and everything under the sun. I'm like, oh snap. How on earth did I get this? Whenever I deal with patients, I wear a mask, okay? Every single time. Not 80% of the time, not 90, not 10, 100% of the time. I don't deal with patients without wearing a mask. I sanitize like crazy. I wash my hands. Don't know. Anyways, um, I meant to say it's not really important, but I guess it is. That Thursday night, I didn't go back to Charlotte because I had a dental appointment that Friday. So it's very possible I got it from the dentist's office. It's very possible I got it from patients. It's very possible I got it from my friend that I stay. It's just possible I got it from wherever. But if I had to pinpoint, it's probably going to be work. But anyways, yeah. So I stayed in Charlotte, not Charlotte, in Columbia Thursday night with my friend, and then I went to work Friday. And then they told me that my contract was on pause midday, but I can finish out the day. And then Saturday I woke up with a sore throat and everything else. So Saturday, Sunday I feel like crap. I'm like, you know what? It's either flu or COVID. I know what I know. You can't convince me otherwise. I've had the flu before. I have not had COVID. So for 3 years I have dodged this bullet, and somehow that third day I'm like, I gotta go to the hospital. Like I'm just not getting better. It's either flu or COVID. Maybe I'm thinking my thought process is this: if it's flu, which I was hoping it was flu, give me Tamiflu. Like I need to go so I can get a prescription for Tamiflu so I can get this kind of um, like under control faster, right? I'm sorry, y'all. I keep going in and out. Shade. So that was my thought process. It was not flu. It was not strep throat because they tested me for all. It was that 19 COVID 19. So I was like, oh my gosh. The doctor or the nurse practitioner gave me some meds, not Paxlovid. He just gave me like some cough medicine or something like that. I guess it helped. I don't know. I mean, I think when it's gonna run its course, it's gonna run its course regardless of medication. But I don't know. As you can hear in my voice, excuse me, I still have congestion. My voice still sounds like I'm sick, but like physically, I don't feel sick. Like I don't have chills, fever. Like I don't, none of that. Today would be day. Let me see if Saturday was day 7. What's the day? Monday, Tuesday. We're like day 10 or something like that. 9, day 9 or 10 or something like that. It's been over a week. Let's put it like that since I first had my symptom. Um, so yeah, I feel 100% better. Um, like I said, besides the congestion and my voice sounding like I'm sick, I feel fine. But yeah, I was out for a week. COVID kicked my behind. Um, yeah, yeah. So people probably gonna ask this. Not that it matters, but it does. I guess I only have 2 of the vaccines. It's not a secret. So I got the first 2 back in 2021, I think. So I didn't get any boosters, so I didn't have 2 doses. So that's been worn off. But it's just personal choice. Anyways, so yeah, and I have not got my flu vaccine yet. So yeah, I said hopefully once I get better, I'll probably go get flu, and because I can't do a double whammy. Like when I had flu, it almost took me out years ago. So COVID almost took me out. When I mean take me out, I don't mean like I was in a hospital bed, like admitted. They literally um, saw me, swabbed me, gave me some ibuprofen because I did have a fever when I went to the hospital. So they gave me some ibuprofen and some meds, sent to the pharmacy and sent me on my way. I was not admitted. The good thing that the provider said about this COVID is that they're not seeing a lot of shortness of breath or any respiratory, like serious respiratory issues, which I can attest to. I felt like I was dying, but it wasn't like breathing wise. It was just all those flu-like symptoms. So yeah, so that was that. So I technically lost my job a week after I moved up here. The next week I got COVID. So I'm not working. Mind you, even if I did have a job, I couldn't work because I'm literally deathly ill. And yeah, so now I'm kind of like, what do I do? I called my company on yesterday, so Monday. Um, I really wish I knew what the date was, but sometime, some date in September. I'll upload this probably tomorrow, so you'll get an idea of time frame. So I called my company mom, like, hey, any updates? Because I'm like, I need to know if I need to, what I need to do. Like, I'm technically living with my friend, but she's coming back in a few days, or technically today. So I need to like figure out what I need to do, where I'm going, what's going on. Like, I'm not going to be here without a job, blah, blah, blah. They're just basically like, this issue is bigger than us. It's bigger than, who we're contracted for. It's just a big, big issue. I won't say the issue, but it has nothing to do with me, but it's just a legal thing. And I'm just like, wow, wow. So pretty much we don't have an answer. So for me, I was thinking like, okay, maybe they're going to give me some reassurance that it'll be resolved this week, but there's like no timetable. It seems like it's going to be a lengthy process. I'm like, all right, okay, what do we do now? Um, so I'm just like, okay, mind you, I didn't sign that lease because the lady didn't send it. By the time I found out about the pause, like she still had sent the lease like midday Friday. So I'm like, okay, that's great. So I told her, I was like, hey, my contract is on pause, so I'd rather not sign the lease. She's like, okay, just keep me posted. I'm like, cool. Anyways, let's fast forward past COVID, last week, past COVID, all of that. Yesterday, over the weekend actually, like, over this past weekend, we were just texting back and forth. I was just kind of like, I do kind of need to be in the area because I got these appointments coming up over the next 2 weeks that I really need to do. They're not like stuff I can blow off. Like I really have to see these physicians and whatnot. Um, so I was like, well, maybe I'll just pay you for a month and maybe I'll find something here and just see if I can figure it out. Right. So that was kind of the plan. The more I started thinking about it, the more I'm like, I don't really want to struggle here. Like struggling when you're home and you're around people that can help you is different than struggling by yourself, 8 hours away. So I was just kind of like, I don't feel, I just don't really like this. And she told me that over the weekend that she put somebody in the room that I was gonna rent, but there's another room downstairs. I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I literally asked the question. I'm like, okay, so does the other person smoke or have pets? Um, and she answered the question. She's like, no, I don't allow smoking in my home or something like that. I'm like, okay, cool. Hours later, I get this long, lengthy paragraph, like 2 paragraphs basically, of her saying how that question was offensive. And I'm like, how is me asking about this random person that you just put in the room I was going to rent offensive? I don't smoke anything, never have, never will. I don't want to be around smoke. I know you don't smoke, but that don't mean that don't mean anything. Like when the money right, people gonna do a lot of stuff. Let's just be honest. Like, so I'm like, how is that offensive? And then obviously pets, like I know you have a little dog, and I don't even really deal with pets like that. But I'm like, okay, the little dog is a little dog, it's Yorkie, is whatever. But if that person has like a whatever, I don't. Pets aren't my thing. I can't really deal with pets like that. So I need to know. Like I don't want to spend money on this lease, renting this room, and this person has pets, or they're a smoker or whatever the case may be. But she sent me a paragraph and was like, "That's offensive," and literally just going off. When I tell you everything in me wanted to literally not respond, not say anything. And if I was gonna respond, I was gonna be really slick. But then I had to think, Joya, you're homeless. Like you have nowhere to go really in the next few days. So upsetting this lady might not be the best thing. So I'm just like, I apologize, but it was all the Holy Spirit because everything in me, mind you, I'm. You're not gonna talk to me crazy, especially when I feel like my question was justified, and I sent it to several friends, and they were like, "Yeah, Joy, that was a justifiable question. Like you weren't rude with it, you weren't mean. You want to know, is this person that you're moving in or moved in, like, do they smoke or do they drink? It's this or not drink, but like have pets. It's the same thing I asked her when I, connected her with her the first time. I didn't think it was an offensive question, but apparently she did. So I'm like, Joy, play this safe. Play this safe because if you move in, um, you don't know what this lady could do if she feel like mean or So I was like, all right, I apologize, and I did mean it in the sense of if you tell me I'm offending you, okay, but it wasn't like a oh my god I'm so sorry. It was just like okay I apologize, but I don't think I was wrong for asking the question that I asked. To be honest with you, so that was yesterday, and I told her I was just like no that was the weekend, but after that the vibes were just weird. I like it's always been weird with her, but like I was just like, yeah, something. Nah. First, you telling me you showing me on the website that you have a bed in this room, but basically you don't. So it's false advertising for one. Now you move somebody else into the room, which I get it. You got to make your money. You can't stop and wait for me. I ain't tripping. But when I ask about the person, you get offended. So I'm just like, yeah, nah, can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. I can't end up on the news. I got too much to lose. So yeah, I was just like, nah. I'm like, Julia, you don't have. If I had a job here, then I probably could have just sucked it up for a month and stayed with her and then moved out. But I'm like, you don't have a job. What's the purpose? Like, what's the purpose? Um, nah. So I decided to forego that. Make a decision yesterday to come back home. So that's where I'm at today. I left Charlotte like 5:30. My friend was coming in. I gave her her keys, said deuces, and I drove to Columbia because I have to do some things here. I went and got my oil change first. I just left there. Now I got Chick-fil-A. Now I actually have to go to my doctor's appointment, which I need to be at in probably like 40 minutes. It's only like 10 minutes up the street. So I need to see my PCP before I leave so she can make sure I'm not, um, yeah, I'm not, my blood pressure is not astronomical because when I was in the ER, I have high blood pressure by the way. When I was in the ER, it was, at first was 144 when they did triage. It was 144 over 99, which, high, but it ain't that bad. It's bad, but it ain't that bad. I've seen worse. So later on, when they took back to the room, it was 154 over 105, and they discharged me with that blood pressure. So that medical team need to be ashamed of yourself. But no, me being medical, I could have said something, but I know that I have high blood pressure. However, I do know it's controlled, so I'm on medication, and I also know stress. Like I had a fever, I was chills out of my spine. My dress was wet, y'all. I was sweating like crazy. The nurse was like, ma'am, you're making me hot. I'm like, listen, lady, I got COVID. I feel like I'm burning up. And I had on a dress with no sleeves. I'm like, but I would sit down, the dress would be soaked. That's how hot I was. But yeah, they discharged me with 154 over 105. I'm still alive to tell them tales, so I didn't stroke out, but that is stroke level. Um, but I know my body, so yeah. However, yeah, so I need to see my PCP today. It was already in the plans uh, months ago, like 6 months ago, because she put me on the medication because I wasn't taking it. Yeah, take your medication, please. If you want to get off of it, then do what you got to do to get off of it, but don't just stop it because you're going to be in somebody's ER stroked out. So I've been taking it faithfully for the most part, for the last 6 months or whatever. So yeah, so she's going to see if it's working. God, I pray it's working because I cannot. I don't want to go up a dose. I'm on 10 milligrams. Now granted, I have no like reaction. I've never had any edema. They have with this medication, sometimes you get swelling in your ankles. But 10 milligrams is kind of low, kind of. I was started on 5, but I didn't take the medication, so they upped me to 10. But yeah, that's why you should take your medication. But I've been taking it, so I pray to God that we get good news. And yeah, that's what I have to do in about 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes. And then I'm getting on the road to head to Florida. So that's what it is. That's where we're at. Whole purpose of this video, have more than one income. Um, and it doesn't have to be, I didn't say job, I said income. Because your income could be whatever. It could be your Etsy account. It could be your side hustle. It could be, your book. It could be your audio book. It could be arts and crafts that you do. It could be, whatever. Because we are living in a season. We are living in a time where one income is not going to cut it, unfortunately. Look at me. I got several degrees, right? I'm not some average Joe, and look where I'm at. So this can happen to anybody. That's my point. No matter how educated you are, how many degrees you got, where you are, how much money you've been made. Because early last year, when I was living the life, I was living the life, making great money, traveling, just doing my dang. I never would have thought I'd be here. So I always thought when I go back to Florida, it'll be because like I have a job and I want to go, not like I was forced to go. So that's that. Find a way to make some extra money, another stream of income. You need about three at this point, at least, to make it in life. It's just the way life is. I'm on LinkedIn every day. I see every day. I got laid off. Somebody help me. It's super sad. I saw this post. I think it might have been yesterday. This lady was like, she got laid off, but she's like, I have a spouse. I have a good savings. I'm like, well, that's great. But 99% of the posts I see are not that. It's single people, typically single parents that can't afford to pay their bills because of a layoff or restructuring of some sort. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Um, yeah, I pray to God that things get better. Um, I knew September was going to be hard. That's why I'm off my social except for YouTube. Um, so if you DM me on Instagram and I haven't responded, that's why. So sorry. September I took personally for me because somebody had reached out. They actually emailed me about NCLEX and was trying to get encouragement. I was like, listen, hit me up in October. September I'm taking a month off from everybody except for me because I knew it was going to be rough. I didn't know it was going to be this rough. But I can still laugh because it's at this point it can only go up. Like our plans are not God's plans, our thoughts are not His thoughts, our ways are not His ways, and we just have to trust that His plan is perfect. So it's obviously His plan for me to be in Florida at this moment, um, and I'm trusting His plan. I'm using my connects to my advantage because I have more connects in Florida than I do anywhere else. So I'm using my connects to my advantage. I'm gonna get there closer to 8 p.m. tonight, so I'm not doing anything job related when I get there. I'll be dog tired. But tomorrow we're gonna hit the books, hit the internet, hit LinkedIn, Indeed, and all those other job engines, and just be pouring our little heart out, rework my resume, and just see what happens. It's rough. It's rough because uh, this time last year, well, not this time last year I was here. No, I was in a better spot, but earlier last year, I was in a whole different place. Like, on my Instagram, I was, in the VI, in a beachfront condo, paid for by the company, living my entire best life, more money than I could ever see, more money in my account at one time than people probably will ever see, most people in their lifetime. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And a year later, life can change. Everything in the natural, y'all, is subject to change. Every single thing. You can be up one minute, you could be down the next. In all aspects, you got to give God the glory. But they say, count it all joy. Count it all joy. At times like this, I really have to rely on faith, and I have to rely on the fact that I know I'm named what I'm named for a reason. Like, I can't even be mad when people say my name. It's honestly so funny because people like make it a game. Like this lady I did curbside the other day at Cheddar's, and so she was like, "Let me guess your name." And people do that all the time, and I think it's like the funniest thing. And it just brings me joy because it's like people really care that much to guess my name. A lot of times they do get it right. Sometimes they don't. But it just let me know I'm named Joy for a reason. So even through all of this foolishness, I still got joy. I still have happiness. I still can smile, right? But I need to go before I be late to this appointment. So with that being said, I am probably not gonna hop on camera again. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. If I upload this, then obviously I made it safe to Florida. If you don't see this video, God bless you. But no, I'll be safe as always. But yeah, anyways, I'm in this video. Y'all stay grateful, stay faithful, stay consistent. Peace.